Hello, and welcome back to Fountain Penthropology. My name is Michael, your personal penthropologist, and I'll be your guide as we explore the wide world of fountain pens and those who wield them. I thought we'd start a new segment of our channel today. We're calling it Penthropology 101. I know a lot of people have questions about the operation of fountain pens, the different parts and features of these pens, and so I wanted to take some time and explain a little bit about the different filling mechanisms that we have for fountain pens. So first, let's talk about the parts of the pen, and we're going to use this Jinhao 82, the Jinhao homage to Sailor's Pro Gear Slim model. So what we have, obviously, right here are three pieces: the barrel, the cap, and the clip. And then if we uncap by unscrewing the cap from the body, you'll see that we have nib, grip section, and body. So those are the parts of most fountain pens. We can then also unscrew the body, the barrel from the body, exposing the converter. A converter makes it so that you can use bottled ink as opposed to just cartridges to increase the number of kinds of inks, colors of inks, and properties of inks that might not be available in cartridge form. To then reassemble, you insert the converter, screw in the barrel, and you screw on the cap, and you have your fountain pen. So let's talk a little bit about the different filling mechanisms that we have in fountain pens. And we're going to go from what I deem the simplest or least complicated to what I consider the most complicated or more number of parts. So to start out with, we have this platinum pen. It's a disposable fountain pen, which means it already comes pre-filled with ink. The reason why it's the simplest is because you don't have to do anything to it. You just purchase it, uncap it, post it if you'd like, and you're ready to write. The next filling system we're going to look at is called the eyedropper. Now, why is it called the eyedropper? Well, because when you uncap and you take off the grip section, you can take an eyedropper or a pipette like I have here, or a blunt end syringe, and fill the body with ink. So the body is its own ink reservoir, much like you'll see in piston filling and vacuum filling fountain pens, which we'll talk about later. You then reattach the body to the grip section, and this pen also screws to post to make it practically a full-size pen. This is the Mahjong Wankai 2.0. Our next filling system is not perhaps the most common filling system, especially in modern pens, as this is a vintage pen, but what we have here is a 1946 Parker Vacuumatic in Azure Pearl. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous pen that I got on PenSwap, and it is different in that it has a very different filling system than most modern pens. So you untwist the cap to uncap, and then you're going to actually unscrew what we call the blind cap, where you have the pump mechanism that's going to give us our fill. So inside we have a diaphragm, and this pumps the diaphragm up and down to pour ink into the barrel. So we're going to do that actually right now. So we're going to uncap our ink. This is Waterman's Serenity Blue. Very, very safe for both modern and vintage pens. We're going to submerge the pen down to the grip section and to press a few times until we don't see any ink remaining. Any bubbles in the ink. We're going to clean up that grip section a little bit, maybe Wipe off that nib. Put the blind cap back. Screw to recap the pen, and you're good to go. Very, very simple. Next, we have what we call piston fillers. Now, why do we call it a piston filler? Because this, and you can see because this is a demonstrator, the Mahjong T1, this is an internal piston. So we unscrew the cap, and then before we dip our nibs up to the grip section into the ink, we're going to twist the piston knob to push that piston all the way down as far as it will go. So right about to where we see in what non-demonstrator pens we would call an ink window, but obviously we have the entire barrel is an ink window because it's clear. Then we put it into the ink, and we just slowly bring the piston back up again. I don't know if you can see. A lot of times I'd like to do this multiple times to make sure that there's as little air as possible. You see we have quite a fill now, and you can see it sloshing around in that demonstrator. Of course, then we have to clean off our grip section. You can use a lot of things to clean off the grip section after you've inked a pen. I prefer microfiber towels because they're super absorbent, reusable, so they're better for the environment. And look at how gorgeous these colors become on your microfiber towels as you put more and more ink on it. So I just love how those look. And then you have your inked pen. Our next pen is what we call a vacuum filling pen, and this is the Wing Sung 699, which is Wing Sung's homage to Pilot's Custom 823. So we unscrew the cap, and then instead of a piston knob, it's actually a piston rod that we then pull out, creating drawing the piston back, because then we expel air as we push it down until it hits right about there where it breaks that seal, and because that vacuum is broken, it sucks ink from the grip section, the base of the grip section, to the barrel of the pen. So let's do that now with our Waterman's Serenity Blue. We pull that piston all the way back, we submerge it up to the grip section, and then just slowly depress. Oh, that's a very good fill the first time. Very good fill. You also want to hold it in there for a little while to make sure that it is nice and gotten all of the ink that you want to have in it. There is a trick, and we'll show you the trick real quick to getting a max fill with your vacuum fillers. So what you're going to do is you're going to withdraw that piston back down to the bottom, withdrawing that rod. And then you see how much air we have still in this pen. So we're going to push, and you see at the base of the grip section right there at the feed and the nib, just starting to have, well, that wasn't perfect, but that's okay. And then you depress it again, and you have much more ink than the last time. And so again, you're going to clean off the grip section and any other parts that you get inky, such as my inky fingers. I knew that I wasn't going to come out of this unscathed, but that's okay. And then you screw down that piston rod. What that does is it seals off the grip section from the rest of the barrel, especially for when you're flying, have changes in temperature or pressure. Having that sealed means that you're less likely to have ink burping out of your nib. When you want to write for longer periods of time, you just unscrew the piston rod a little bit. You don't have to pull it out. And that connects the grip section with the barrel to make sure that you have ink flowing if you're going to have an extended writing session. And then when you're done, you just simply screw the piston rod knob back down, twist to cap your pen, and you're good to go. And last and certainly not least, we have cartridge converter. So again, we twist to uncap the pen. Some caps do not twist, some caps are pull caps. I would always default to a twist cap because you don't want to make the mistake of pulling off a cap. If it's a twist cap, I would always start by assuming it's a twist cap unless I know for 100% otherwise. Then you're going to unscrew the grip section from the barrel, and you see that the piston knob of the converter is already down, just like in our regular internal piston, right? And then we can dip it in just like we did our piston, but I also want to show you that it's possible to do so with a blunt tip syringe. So what we're going to do, especially if you're really low on ink, what you can do is, because this has a much longer and much more controlled way, you can take ink up with your blunt tip syringe and simply apply it right to the converter, and then return any unused. I like to do that a few times to make sure that I have as much ink returned to the bottle as possible. Always remember also to recap your bottles. I know this is a very solid one because it's so wide. I don't have any fears of it falling over, but it's quite possible for ink bottles that are not designed as well to be less stable. So be very careful and always remember to put the cap back on the bottle of your inks unless you want an ink catastrophe. Then again, you simply screw the barrel back onto the grip section. I always turn it upside down when I haven't filled it from the nib section, because it has the converter has to have the ink travel through capillary action down into the grip section, the feed, and from the feed to the nib before you can start writing. So I like to, a lot of times, just have it sitting either against the ink bottle or against other pens until you know that ink's going to flow. There's also another part that I did not identify yet that I wanted to bring your attention to, an accessory that's really, really useful, and that is an ink miser, and I'll demonstrate what an ink miser is. Some brands call it an ink shot, but essentially what an ink shot or ink miser is a way for you to, especially if you have a pen that does not fit into your barrel of ink, or you have very little ink left in your barrel, very little ink left in your bottle. What you can do is you can use either the pipette or the blunt end syringe. We're going to use the syringe. And you're going to use the syringe to fill the ink miser with ink. And that way you have a much more open and accessible way. And remember, always recap. A much more open and accessible way to, let's just do it again with our Parker Vacuumatic here. Much easier way and much more stable way to fill your pens. And hardly any got on the grip section because it was such a controlled way to ink it, which I always love. So we recap. We put the blind cap back on, and we're ready to write. Then what you do with whatever ink is left over, you simply pour it back into your ink bottle. Close your ink bottle always. And then you can just run the ink miser or ink shot under some warm water and then dry it with a paper towel or a microfiber towel. And it's ready to be used again to ink another pen. So this was just a little brief and quick fire overview of the different filling systems that we have for fountain pens. I also, though, wanted to show a little bit of a preview of what our next video is going to be, and that's going to be a review of this pen, which is a pen that I had 3D printed at my school. I'm really excited about it. It was a free template that was online that I found on printables.com, and I'll have the link in that video, but I'll also include the link to those files in this video. It took less than a couple hours to print and get ready, and it cost me less than $4 for the materials because I had it done at my university. It's an amazing deal. It's a gorgeous pen, and it holds a number 6 sized, in this case, Yovo Conklin branded nib. So I'm really excited to show you a fuller review of this pen, what the process was, how it writes, if there's any upkeep you need to do to it to make sure that the pieces fit together. I'm going to have a full review for you in the next video, which I hope you tune in for. So, please ask any questions that you have about filling systems in the comments below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. This is Michael, the Penthropologist, signing off.